I do have depression, and I do have major anxiety. And when I fall in my dark hole that depression sucks me into, I stay in that hole for a long time, and I think nothing but negative thoughts.
Yeah, that was me about a couple months ago. Anyway, obviously you see the intro of the video and you see the title. This is going to be definitely a more serious topic. I feel as if not a lot of people talk about it, and people that have it don't want to talk about it. They feel like they can deal with it on their own and they don't want to seek help for it. And I'm basically here to tell my story. Disclaimer, of course, I'm not a professional. I'm just going to share my experience and tips and anything that may help someone that is possibly going through the same thing. I have anxiety and I have depression. Looking at me, you could probably never tell, but I do, and I struggle with it every day. I would like to talk about my anxiety. I always had anxiety since I was in middle school. I remember, when I was late to a class, this is just an example, by the way. When I was late to a class, I remember feeling my heartbeat, feeling my palms get sweaty. I remember just feeling like I was going to fucking die because I had to walk in the classroom and I was scared that people were going to stare at me and people were talking about me. Always thinking what people thought of me and what people were saying and blah, 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 blah. And I was just a mess. I definitely had anxiety. Don't even talk about school presentations. I ain't do those shits. And my depression, I would say, came in more my freshman year of high school. I was talking to someone. I grew very close to them, and they ended up passing away. Not gonna really get into much of that because that's a whole nother story time itself. It was my first real traumatic experience. My depression began after senior year, definitely after graduation. I was working at a small cap place and I loved the job, but they weren't giving me enough hours, so I had to find other employment. And I'm telling you, I've applied absolutely everywhere. Could I have done more to get a job? Yes, because people who are watching this be like, bitch, you could have done more. I could have, but I really applied to a lot of places, went in, made my face known, and just rejection after rejection after rejection. Oh, no job. I wasn't in school, and that is not by choice. The school that I go to, the community college in Tampa, is fucked. They got something mixed up. They didn't get my financial aid. I don't want to talk about it. So I wasn't in school, and I had a situation going on with a significant other that was putting a lot of stress on me too. I'm not going to talk about that. Had a lot of family issues, and to get serious with you guys, I just started falling into a depression. And when I tell you I started falling into a depression, I would stay in bed all day because my mom would leave for work at 8 in the morning. My dad would leave for work at around like 7:30. So I was home all day until my mom got back from work, which she got back at around like 4:35, and I would just lay in bed all day. And I just started to feel worthless. I wasn't providing anything for the house, and my mom was constantly on me about getting a job, and I have other people around me being successful and moving up in life and getting a job and getting married and having kids, and I'm over here in my fucking house with no job, no school, nothing, just sitting and sleeping all day. I just felt so shitty about myself. I'm just going to talk about an experience that changed my life, and it's something that I will always remember. It's something that is engraved in my brain because it's one of those things that truly changes you once it happens to you. I'm gonna be very upfront and honest with you guys, and I don't care what anyone feels about this video. Oh, it's too much. Oh, you know, you shouldn't have said that. That should be your business. I'm very open with certain areas of my life, and I feel if I tell this and it helps someone, then I've done my job, because the purpose of this video is to truly help anyone who is going through the same thing. A couple months ago, I sunk into a severe depression. Gonna be honest with you, I would sit in bed all day, not shower, not brush my teeth, not eat. When I tell you guys that it was physically impossible to get out of bed, I mean, it was like a weight. Literally, it's so cliche to say because you hear people saying it all the time, but it was like a weight. I couldn't get out of bed. I was just had the most negative mindset. Even looking outdoors, everything looked gray. I didn't see any color. Everything was just hitting me at once, and I just felt so bad about myself. And I remember the worst week of my life. I would sit in bed all day. Like I said, not eat. I lost weight. I wouldn't want to talk to anyone. I mean, it was really bad, and God bless my friends who tried to help me, who tried to get me out of the house, who tried to pick me up, and I would just say no. God bless you. I have good friends, but it's something that I had to work through myself. I started having suicidal thoughts. Did I ever act on them? No, of course not. But I got to this state of mind that I've never been in before, and that's the state where I had no hope. I've always been a hopeful person. I've always tried, or I've always been able to see hope. Even if I'm in a bad situation, I've always been able to say, okay, well, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to be okay. But in this situation, this week, this awful, awful week, I just lost hope. I didn't see anything in my future. I just saw my life the way it was now forever, and it was bad. I remember specifically, this was a Saturday, I believe. Oh my god, I'm like burping. This is a Saturday, and I have a close friend who is actually friends with my mom, and she and I became friends because I cleaned her house a couple times, so she, uses me for cleaning, and I go over, and she's also became like a friend, so, she picks me up and we go eat or whatever. So she, of course, knows, basically, she's known me since I was in middle school, so she knows everything I've ever gone through and how I feel, and we relate to each other greatly. I look for her for a lot of guidance, and I talk to her. That morning, I was supposed to meet with her because I believe I was supposed to clean her house. So, of course, I don't have a car, so she picked me up. She lives about 15 minutes. She picked me up, and I get in the car. She's like, how are you doing? I'm like, awful. So we start talking, and I just said, I've never felt so terrible. This is the worst feeling. This is the worst I've ever felt in a long time. And I clearly remember as I was riding in the car with her, looking outside, and oh God, I will never forget that feeling. Everything was gray. Nothing had color. Nothing. I felt dead. I truly felt dead inside. And she's just talking to me, and, she asks, well, have you been having suicidal thoughts? I said, yeah, I have. So she's like, wow. So we get home to her house, and I believe we don't do any cleaning. I believe we go and get something to eat, and we go and to her house, we sit down and we're talking, and we had made a decision that, I was gonna go somewhere because she was worried about me. And basically where she was gonna take me is a crisis center. Now this is where it gets deep. A crisis center is a facility where they take in people for, I believe, 72 hours, so 3 days. They take them in if they're a danger to themselves, a danger to others, and there's a third reason, and I forgot. So basically she was like, telling me a little bit about it, and I said, yeah, I want to do it. If I get anything out of it, I mean, I never know, right? So time goes on, and, it comes towards the end of the day, around nighttime. It's like around 10 o'clock Saturday night, and I look awful. I have my hair in a bun, my eyebrow, I have no makeup, I haven't taken a shower. I mean, it was bad. So We go to my house so I can pick up my ID, because I believe I had to show my ID. Go to my house, pick up my ID, and I talk to my mom, and and she's like, she knows everything I'm going through, and she always was the type to never ignore my depression, but she really knew shit was real when she saw me, just the way I was just done. And my dad pulled me aside to the kitchen, and he's like, is this something that you really want to do? Because I don't think you're prepared to see what's inside that place. And I'm like, I just feel like I need to do this. And my dad doesn't normally get emotional with me, but he did. And he started tearing up and basically saying, you can't give up. And you have to keep fighting. And, I'm not taking anything you're saying lightly. This is very hard for me, and I had a feeling that you weren't okay. And I'm sorry if I'm making it seem that, I don't care, but I do truly love you. And yeah, my dad got emotional. So I leave, and we go to the facility, go inside, and obviously I was a new patient. So they had to get all my information and everything like that. And basically I went in and I talked to he's not a doctor, I forgot what he was. He admitted people. But I was talking to him, he asked me like at least 80 billion questions, and he was just like, well, do you have a plan to kill yourself? I'm like, no. He's like, do you have thoughts? Yes. What are those thoughts? And I'm like, whoa, what? So it was just a lot of questions, and I answered them, the best I could. He said, okay, well, your friend out there, my friend who had taken me, he was asking me, are you pretty close with her? Yeah, I'm very close with her. She knows he was asking me, does she know what you're going through? I'm like, yeah, she knows everything. And he basically was like, well, do you mind? I'm sorry, I'm like itching my leg, I got bit by a mosquito. But he was asking me, well, do you mind if I talk to her? I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I come outside, and my friend's in the waiting room. She looks at me with a smile, and the guy takes her in and talks to her, so I'm waiting in the waiting room now. Sorry if I confused anyone, but so I was waiting in the waiting room, and then she comes out, and the doctor goes back in. I keep calling him a doctor, and he's not. I forgot, but I'm just gonna call him a doctor, okay? So she comes back out with him, and I believe he goes back in to fill in some other paperwork. Oh no, I know where he went. He went to go talk to my mom. Went to go talk to my mom, and they were on the phone for a while, and she was just talking to me, and oh, God bless her heart, she was so supportive through the whole thing. I believe it was past her bedtime. She usually goes to sleep pretty early, but she was with me, and she's just an amazing soul, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life. But she was just talking to me and saying, you'll be fine, I think they're gonna admit you. I would be really surprised if they just sent you off and said, okay, well, you're not really in dire need of this, but whatever. Because remember, to be admitted into one of these facilities, you have to be a danger to yourself, another person, and I keep forgetting the third reason. So the doctor comes back out, and he's basically like, we're going to admit you. So I was like, okay, And it was kind of a relief, but I was also scared, at the same time. Basically, oh my god, sorry, I have a bunny, and yeah, so I say my goodbyes to my friend, and he's telling her a bunch of information. If you need to contact her, she'll be available at this number, and blah 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 blah, whatever. She's like, okay. I give her a hug, and I get a little teary because it was emotional. It was an emotional moment. I can't deny it. But so I go in, and they give me a little wristband with my name on it. It's like I was in a hospital. Give me a little wristband with my name on it, and I go in, and I go into this little room, and this guy takes off my jewelry, my necklace. Couldn't have necklaces, couldn't have earrings, couldn't have facial piercings or anything like that. They take your shoes, and they give you shoes, and then they check your pockets. They have a metal detector. I mean, it's real. So I didn't have anything, and then my second step was I went to this other lady, and she took my blood pressure, and she asked me like a bunch of questions about my health and whatever. So final step was I went to a little room, and it had 4 other ladies in there, 5 including myself. And it was a small room, very dark, because remember, this was at night. It had a TV and very horribly uncomfortable recliners. Horribly uncomfortable plastic, and I got a little white thin blanket. And I remember just not being able to sleep. And as soon as I, went in and, the lady got me situated into my recliner, I hear, "Hey kid, what are you in here for?" I'm like, oh my God, like, I really didn't think it would happen. I don't know. I really didn't think that someone would talk to me. I don't know how to explain it, but I just thought I would be left alone. And not to seem like rude or anything, but I ignored her because I didn't want to talk. I was not in a good state of mind, Remember, guys, I'm going through it. So I just ignored her, hoping that she thought I didn't hear her. But she asked again, "Hey kid, what are you in here for?" And I said, "Depression." And she said, "For what?" I said, "Just things going on in my life." She said, "What things?" I said, "I don't want to talk about it." She said, "Okay." So we stayed quiet, and we're watching TV, and I believe we strike up a conversation. I don't know what happened or how this conversation was, brought. I forgot, but I ended up opening up to her a little bit about what was going on. Basically, I had a lot of family issues. I had a lot of, issues finding a job, not in school. I just feel worthless. I feel useless. I've never felt so bad about myself, and my depression has never been worse. And I said other things. She said, "Okay." And she was basically like, "Well, me, I've been burned. I've been burned. I've been stabbed. I've been raped. I've lost all of my family members. I have tried to commit suicide multiple times. Hasn't worked." She says, "I don't feel anything." She looked at me. She said, "Do you feel happiness? Do you feel sadness? Do you feel fear?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I don't feel any of that. This," and she showed me her arm, and it had scars. She said, "This doesn't hurt. This is why I keep doing it, because I want to feel something." And I'm just looking at her like, in awe. And the words that she told me, which I will always remember, she looked at me and she said, "You kid, you're gonna be okay. You have a little crack. Me, I'm broken." And the reason that hit home is because I would always say, "I'm broken, I'm broken, I'm broken." And just hearing what she had to say about herself, I'm like, that is a person that is truly broken. And I believe this was late at night, so we end up going to bed. And I'm just thinking, and I've never prayed so hard in my life. And I just prayed, for God to just give me hope again. Everything's going to be okay. Like, God knows my depression. He knows my situation. And it's hard to explain to others, but God knows what I'm going through. And I just prayed for a way out. And I believed in him, and whatever he was going to guide me, whatever he was going to show me was going to be my way. And we get up, and all the other girls were sleeping, by the way, the night before, except for that one girl. We get up, and one of the girls, she gets up, and she's talking, and she's real friendly. She kind of asked me, "What are you in here for?" That's the thing. They ask you, "What are you in here for?" And I told her, and I was like, "Well, what are you in here for?" She's like, "My mom died." I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, I was like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, my mom died. I overdosed. My boyfriend found me, and he called the cops, and they sent me here." I'm like, oh my God. And anyway, long story short, so I talked to these girls, and they were amazing people. Each one of them, had all these issues going on, and they were still able to live. And I'm over here with my issues, which, by the way, I always advocate that just because your issues aren't bigger, just because your issues aren't as big as someone else's problems, doesn't mean that they don't matter. They're your issues, they're your problems, and you have to deal with them. Just because you don't have what another person has going on doesn't mean that, you know, you have to keep a smile on your face and pretend that everything's okay. No. Everyone has their own issues, and you have to deal with it the way you deal with it. So I'm just going through this whole program, and I see a lot of shit, a lot of stuff that really scarred me, not in a bad way, but it really was like, wow, you really don't have it that bad. There are people who go through this, there are people that have to go through that, and there's people that have no families, and I take for granted my family every day. I have a mom and a dad that both love me, that both sit down and talk to me, and both want the best for me, you know? So anyway, after I leave, I was put on medication, and I am not ashamed, and I'm very open with the fact that I'm on medication. I don't feel it's something that I need to hide, and it's my decision. I really don't care what anyone says about me saying I'm on medication and what people say about medication. Oh, you know, you're on medication for the rest of your life. I'm on medication now because it's what's helping. And as long as it is what's helping and it's what I need to be on, I will be on it for as long as I have to be. And if I'm able to, you know, wean myself off of it as I grow older, then we'll go from there. But right now, I'm taking things at a step. And the medication has been so wonderful. I mean, I've been on it for 2 months now, and I've seen such a drastic difference in my mood. And, you know, of course, I'm not perfect, and I'm still working through issues, and I still have my bad days. I still have days where I sit in bed. But I do have a job now. I got a job, and I will be going back to school soon. So I'm getting my life up, you know, the right track soon. That was my experience. And I want right now to give a short little advice to anyone who is going through depression or anything anxiety related. Someone that doesn't have depression will never understand how it is. They're always going to tell you, well, just get out of the house, it'll make you feel better, or snap out of it, or you'll get over it. And you don't, it's not something you can snap out of. It's not something that you can be around friends and you'll feel okay. It's really something that takes over you, and you physically cannot get up. You physically cannot force yourself to eat. I mean, it's bad, and it's a disease, and I feel that people don't take depression very seriously, and it needs to be taken seriously. So things that helped me is I had a wonderful support system, wonderful friends, wonderful family that talked to me, and I am blessed for them every single day. And also listening to inspirational music. If you put on inspirational music and you just sing the words, you know, you kind of start to believe them, you know. And as far as that, those have been the two things that have truly helped me. And also, once you get a little bit out of your depression, you will want to be with friends. And being around friends is laughing and giggling and is a really good bonus, and it helps. But wow, I've talked a lot. But yeah, this is my story, and I'm sharing it with you because my goal is to reach out to someone that doesn't have a support system, someone that feels like they have no one, someone that is lost. And I want to fully make it known that I'm here. And I know, as cliche and as corny as that sounds, as I'm truly here. Someone who feels as if they don't have anyone to talk to, I'm here. Message me. You know, I'll put my social media in the description. I really don't care who you are. You know, and that person that my experience is, I want to help the next person. You know, so hit me up. But I don't really have anything else to say for this video. It's almost 30 minutes long. But yeah, sorry I haven't uploaded, and I will be uploading more. I know I always say that, but you guys are like, okay, we'll believe it when we see it. And I get you, but thank you for watching this long video, and I hope I've reached out to someone. And follow me on my, oh my god, my bunny is like about to like kill me. But thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day, and remember, always pray. It helps.